Hey, what is going on, everyone? We are one day away from the closed beta test 3 for Once Human, and I am so dang excited. And the devs today actually put out this article about all the updates we can expect in beta 3. So we're going to go through this entire article. It's pretty lengthy. We're not going to go through every single small detail, but I will link it in the description down below in case you want to peruse it on your own time. But we'll go over the highlights, all the major stuff that I'm really excited about. And honestly, there's a lot of stuff in here that I don't fully understand yet because there are some new features and just new gameplay mechanics that we have not gotten to experience yet. So it's hard for me to really understand fully what some of this stuff means, but we're going to do our best. Hop on in. And first off, let me just say the launch date for the beta is on April 3rd at 7 p.m. Pacific time. That's 10 p.m. Eastern, which is in my time zone. And make sure that if you get into the beta that you create a character as soon as possible. So it says right here, once you pre-register, don't forget to create your character before April 4th at 7 p.m. Pacific time. If you don't have a character by then, you won't be able to participate in the test. So that's the first thing I just want to say right here. Make sure that you create your character before this deadline. It says if you don't do that, you will need to use an activation code to enter the server. So make sure you do this once you get in. Hopefully the servers aren't getting hammered too much, but once you get in, make that character right away, and you should be good to go. So let's hop into it straight out of the gate. I'm not super into the lore of this game, so this first part here is just kind of about some of the lore. There's a new main story task that's going to be in Lone Wolf Waste. There's a few other things in Lone Wolf Waste that we'll cover as well. So if you're interested in the story elements, that's awesome. Adding some more story stuff. I did enjoy the story in the last beta, but I was more interested in the PvE kind of elements of the game. And we have a new dungeon, a new monolith dungeon here with the Forsaken Giant, who's pictured right here. This is awesome. If this is a boss, which I imagine it is, it's going to move around. This is so cool. This reminds me of Dark Souls. I can't wait to try this out. And then there's new securement silos. So we have two new securement silos. One of them is in Lone Wolf Waste, so Lone Wolf getting some love right there. And the other one is located in Chalk Peak. This image itself is just really cool in Chalk Peak here. I don't know if this alludes to us maybe getting some weather events of like blizzards and things like that in the game, or maybe this is not, it looks like ice. It might not even be ice, but I just thought it looked cool, so I wanted to point it out. And then we also have a new PvE scenario. So they use some odd terminology, something I still have to get used to. But from what I know, a scenario is essentially something that lasts the entire season. So if you remember in Beta 2, for those of you who did play it, there was kind of a battle pass for the entire season, and the entire server needed to kind of progress that pass, and then you could claim rewards. So it wasn't something your group could do on their own or you could do in your own. It was the entire server had to do it. So this is a new one. It's Manibus or Manibus. I'm going to just say Manibus. That's probably what it is. I don't think it's related to like an actual bus or the bus enemy in the world. Yes, so there will be a new monolith boss dungeon and new securement silo. And they will shift away from PvP focus. So there still will be PvP, but the focus will now be more on PvE, which makes me really happy. I think a lot of the player base wanted more PvE elements as well. So what's interesting here, though, is it says PvP will only be activated with mutual consent. So in the previous beta, there were certain areas that were kind of PvP zones where if a war band had claimed that area, they were able to mine resources in that area and defend it from other people that came into that zone and tried to steal those resources. But now that PvP will only be activated with mutual consent, it makes me think that those, it says the stronghold feature will be removed. So I guess there will not be any PvP zones anymore, which I don't know. I kind of liked the little bit of paranoia in the game when you were in a PvP zone, but I wasn't fully in love with it, so I'm fine with it being removed. And then also they just have some balanced reward distribution. Like main PvP rewards will now be obtainable through other gameplay features, which is always great. There's a lot of that in here where they're basically expanding the amount of ways that you can earn currencies in the game. So that's a lot of what's kind of in these notes, which is great. Really love to see that. And then you can see the Manibus invasion. Join forces to combat creatures, explore the frontier, summon the kin of Manibus with Staroid, and ultimately defeat the Manibus as the season progresses. So this is a season-long kind of thing. I believe this beta test is like 42 or 43 days long, so we should get to experience that during this beta, which will be awesome. And then we also have some key adjustments to Prime War gameplay in the Manibus scenario. So you'll be able to build defensive installations without needing to occupy the area. So from what I know, this just means you can place down defensive units and things of that nature without having your base nearby, which is kind of cool. And then I'm not 100% sure what the Prime War is. It's, they always use this terminology, but I think of it in different ways. When I see it in the game, I can understand it. But when they're saying like Prime War, I'm not 100% sure what that is. That might be, something that was exclusive to warbands, it seems like, because it says all players on the server can participate in the Prime War to earn rewards without warband restrictions. That's great. A lot of people didn't really understand what the warbands were about in the previous beta, and they were kind of hidden away in the menu. So I'm glad that they're kind of loosening up the restrictions related to warbands. You got some quality of life changes here. They improved the interface and tutorial descriptions, added first-time clearance rewards, so more way to earn rewards, things like that. Each season now consists of 6 phases. I honestly forget how many phases were in there previously. I think it was less than 6, but I'm happy with this. It wasn't really anything that I thought needed to be changed, but hey, that's totally fine with me. But one thing here that is important is seasonal phase rewards will no longer be available. Instead, the amount of obtainable Star Crom has increased and is now easier to obtain in the early phases of the new scenario. So essentially what this was that kind of that battle pass sort of like server-wide battle pass that they had, where throughout the season, as the server progressed, you could claim rewards, but those rewards were kind of buried in the menus. A lot of people didn't know that you could actually claim rewards from that. So I'm glad they're making that a little bit more clear or just removing it entirely, which I'm totally fine with. And then we have this mirror world feature, which is pretty interesting. So it looks like instead of using like server transfer tokens, basically they're going to be able to merge worlds together at the end of specific seasonal phases. So it says this process will last about 30 minutes, but it says during which overlapping territories will be removed and must be reestablished post-merge. So I don't 100% know how this is going to work out. If you have your base or your territory in the same spot as someone else and the worlds merge, do you guys need to rush to that spot and whoever claims it first gets it? I don't know. It kind of seems like that's what it's going to be, but this is just their way to avoid like low pop servers kind of in the late game. So yeah, I'm fine with it, but I'm curious to see kind of how it works. And it also does say, there probably will be some issues during the first merging, and they're going to keep a close eye on it. Also, Deviation's getting a huge update here. Basically, the biggest thing here for Deviations and Deviants is that there are a few different kind of abilities that they have. So, Capture here, each deviation is rated for performance with different ratings providing varying levels of work proficiency and efficiency. Not 100% sure exactly how that's different from what we already saw. And I think for this one as well, this is also something that is obviously already in the game in terms of managing deviations and deviants. But it says this update significantly reduces the difficulty of the containment process, which is awesome because I had so many deviants or deviations, whatever you want to call them, get out of their containment units when they were perfectly happy. They kept running from me, very upsetting. But this is really, these last 3 things I'm really excited for. So you'll be able to use certain deviations to actually engage in combat. So there's been some footage of this. It seems to be like kind of like defensive deviations, offensive deviations. I'm very excited to see kind of how this plays out and how the balancing works with this. And then you'll also be able to use deviations to collect resources for you, similar to like Pal World, it seems like in a way. Obviously, you're not going to have as many pals as you did in Pal World, but it seems pretty cool. I'm curious about like the rate and how that kind of works. Do they bring back a lot of resources? Is it like, one stone every 10 minutes? Like, I'm curious to know how this kind of works. And then also, you'll be able to unlock rare formulas by capturing deviations, which is pretty cool. So previously, or at least in the last beta, you could get unique formulas from deviations after it gave you a certain amount of its currency. It looks like you'll still be able to do that, but you can also get some other rare formulas just by capturing the deviations, which is awesome. Now, this is a huge part of this update. Eternaland. So this is brand new. They've talked about this a little bit before. Essentially, what this is there's a lot of description here. I recommend that you guys go check this out. But essentially, what this is, it's like a safe haven for you to essentially have your base at, and that base then persists throughout seasons. So after a season, originally, your base and a lot of the stuff that you had was going to be wiped every season, and there was a huge like uproar because of that. Obviously, people put in a lot of time in these games and they don't want their stuff removed after a season, so they created Eternaland, which will allow you to have unrestricted freedom to build in this area. It's an island that actually has its own currency. So the currency here is called astral sand, and the way that I understand that this works is at the end of a season, you are going to need to spend resource points or astral sand in order to transfer items that you have to your base in Eternaland. So resources, certain cosmetic items, perhaps. I'm not 100% sure on all the items that will be able to be transferred, but you'll need to keep in mind like how much astral sand, how many resource points you have, so that at the end of the season you can properly transfer everything over to Eternaland. Now, like I said, this is something that like no one has experienced yet in the game, so I could be wrong about how this works, but judging from what they're saying here, I think I'm kind of understanding how it works. And then you can also let's see, where is this? You can also invite friends from different servers to visit your base in Eternaland, which is pretty cool, allowing for cross-server play. And then it also says here that special backpack items, such as like blueprints, mods, formulas, they will always remain available. Starcrom, those will not get wiped throughout seasons, which is really great. That was a huge concern. And then your regular backpack items like weapons, armor, basic items like resources that you were unable to save previously will be transferred to the vault on Eternaland, which has unlimited space on it, but this is where you'll have to use those resource points. So kind of interesting. I'm curious to see how this ends up unfolding and what the feedback is. I'm sure there'll be some iterations to it, but I haven't really seen another MMO do this before. If you guys have, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to see kind of how other games handle this. So it's super interesting to me. And then we have some updates to the survival open world crafting system in the game, which is pretty solid. So ciphers can now be obtained through upgrades, completing season objectives, and capturing deviants for the first time. Love to see this. Being able to unlock more things on the skill tree in more ways is obviously great. And then this is a huge update here. You'll be able to reset, they call them memetic nodes, meme points, as everyone says, right? But you'll be able to reset individual parts of your skill tree. Previously, you had to reset the entire skill tree and then select everything again. Now you'll be able to just do individual nodes, which is fantastic. Great quality of life update right there. And then also something else that's interesting in that skill tree, there are no more level requirements or boss requirements for unlocking nodes. So they are now unlocked through seasonal phases. So everyone in the server essentially is going to be, I think from what this is saying, going to be unlocking their skill tree at the same rate in the server, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if people are going to end up liking this, but we'll kind of see how that goes. And then this is also interesting. They're expanding the crafting in the game, so you can use different materials that will improve durability, effects, weight, and just other attributes. So just more variances in weapons and variances in tools, things like that. So I'm pretty excited to check this out. And it says even here, players can reset individual memetic nodes instead of all memetics at once. Great to see. And then they also increased the total amount of memetic points available and simplified the season objective. So like I said, there's a ton of notes in here. I encourage you guys to go read all this sort of stuff. I actually think I was reading these notes before. They added this developer's note in here while I was making this video. This was not here before. So they are working on it. And now we have a memetic specialization system. This is also something I think they added to this article that wasn't here before. So it says, we're excited to introduce our new memetic specialization system designed to give players personalized survival attributes. That's awesome. So they enhance facility effectiveness, improves item crafting, and unlocks new super formulas based on existing memetics. Every 5 levels, players will have the opportunity to acquire a memetic specialization from a choice of 4 randomly given attributes. For example, players can select the expanded backpack attribute to unlock a new formula that increases the player's carrying capacity, or choose the supplies workbench enhanced healing effect to permanently enhance the healing. Oh, this is awesome. So basically, it's almost like a roguelike kind of feature, right? Where like everyone's going to kind of have different attributes on their character. This is just so cool. Adds to the variance, makes it more unique, like your own character. It really feels like it's more of yours because of all these different random attributes that you'll be able to assign. Very cool. And then you can even gift these enhanced items to other, and you can still benefit from the enhancement. This is awesome. I can't wait to check that out. And sorry, I'm kind of cruising through this. There are a lot of notes here, and we're already like 16 minutes into the video. So I'll definitely have some timestamps in here so you guys can jump around. But let's see, construction optimization, bird's eye view. As your settlements continue to grow, the current construction view has proven to become insufficient. Oh, yes, that's absolutely true. So they've introduced a new bird's eye view for construction mode. Love to see this. Obviously, it's going to make it super easy to build and just get an idea of how much territory you're taking up. You can only use it in your own territory, and it's also available in Eternaland as well as the overworld. There's also a new blueprint system. So you will be able to publish and download blueprints. Players can customize the cover, name, and tags of their blueprints and publish or download them. Additionally, players can also like and comment on other players' blueprints. This is cool. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know if there'll be variants in the types of attributes these blueprints have, but this is very cool. Blueprints now support mobile territories. Yes, because you can build a territory on a vehicle and drive it around. Very cool. And yeah, just a few more enhancements to blueprints right here. You can save designs, and that seems pretty cool. Now we have some vehicle updates right here. So Trailerhead is now a personal vehicle. The Hive Garage has been renamed to the Large Garage. That's great because that was definitely a little confusing for a lot of people. And they adjusted to fix the territory facility, and players can now build a large garage in their personal territory and manufacture trailer heads. All right, cool. Seems pretty sweet. Add a personal vehicle momentum and territory facility medium garage. Players can now build a medium garage in their territory. All right, great. So a lot of vehicle stuff right here. Seems like there's just some optimizations here for vehicles, so we can kind of skip over that a little bit. Electricity system has been updated, so lights no longer need to be connected to the power grid. I love this because there's nothing uglier than just seeing a bunch of cables going across your ceiling in your house. This is awesome. Love to see that. Added 2 new types of generators. We have hydraulic and stardust generators. Very cool. And then you can put a hydraulic generator next to a river to get electricity. I will be building my base. I'm letting you guys know right now, next to a river. So if anyone comes to that area and tries to claim that territory, I'm going to get you. No, this is awesome. I love seeing this. So freaking cool. And let's see here. Water system adjustments and optimizations. Looks like just some minor updates. It seems like a small purifier has been added. Water pumps can extract crude oil in their oil fields. That's pretty cool. These are just a bunch of different optimizations here. So I'm going to just kind of skip over a lot of these because just for the sake of time. But definitely go check it out. So much in here, guys. Just so much. Cooking system expansion. Adjusted the attributes and effects of most dishes. I mean, it's great. They're updating all this sort of stuff. Then we have some social feature updates here as well. They've simplified the gameplay of the hive. Love to see this. Warbands can now be formed independently of hives, making it easier for players to join and leave warbands. Love that. You don't have to be in a hive to join a warband now. That's fantastic. And then hive territory has been replaced with individual territory, allowing players to have larger territories. This change is aimed at making it easier for players to understand territory rules. Sounds good to me. Man, there's so much in this update. It's going to be like playing a new game here. And then this is so great. Players can now grant each other permission to use facilities and chests and build in each other's territories. Thank you. Thank you for adding this. This is a huge deal. Thank you so much, developers, if you're watching for some reason. Let's see. Personal territory will now completely replace hive territory. We just read that. New team interface. Added a team interface accessible via the U key or the social page. So you got matchmaking, recruiting, merging. This is awesome. So this will just be easier. It's kind of like an LFG, essentially, of being able to find people to play with. That was absolutely missing from the last beta, so I love to see that they added that there. Let's see. When a player dies, a flower will be left at the spot, which can be reclaimed by the owner. This is almost like Dark Souls in a way, in a weird way. Very cool. Combat and controls. We got some weapon adjustments. They reworked some stats here. Let's see. We got a new recurve bow. Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun to use. Excited about that, especially we don't just have to use the crossbow now, even though the crossbow was fantastic. We can go ahead and use this recurve bow. We got 4 new weapons here. We got a new pistol, the hammerhead. That looks awesome. The netherword. This is cool. Wow, a shotgun. Look at that thing. That looks awesome. The Doombringer. Doombringer or Brigger? I hope it's Bringer because that sounds cooler, but this is awesome. Another shotgun. So we got 2 new shotguns, a pistol, and an SMG. Outer space. Love to see it. Quality's perfect. Love to see that. Weapon optimizations, calibration optimizations, mod adjustments here. New mods will be available with this update. You can mix match different mods and equipment and enjoy a more in-depth modification experience. Weapons no longer limited to specific gun types for mods, which is awesome. So you can use mods across different guns. This is just great. There's a new talent here, Override. Let's see, what does this do? Seasonal override system has been updated to include new features as the general override and seasonal override. Okay. I'm not too sure what this does. It's got firearm buffs, combat movement buffs, and genre buffs. I think that means general buffs, maybe. We got some new items. We got a new tactical item, Space Twister. Teleports a teammate to your location. Love that. We'll be trolling so many people with this. New elixir, Morph Crumbs. Transforms the user into a nearby object. That's awesome. We're playing prop hunt, boys. Weapon attachment adjustments. Holy moly. All right, so we're going to skip over that. Character optimizations. You can now climb onto the shore. This is all awesome. There's a walk key now. We can walk in the game. We got some gameplay experience. There's Cargo Scuffle. A merchant has arrived in the stronghold sporting a jellyfish-like substance on her head. Okay, let's see. She's in search of sproutlet, which can be found on specific roads in the world. Okay, so we need to find this sproutlet, transport it via truck. When you stop the truck, it releases seed of life that resembles a jellyfish and grants sproutlet to the nearest person. However, be cautious as others will be vying for them. Okay, so this is another kind of world event, similar to like the Echo Stones, but kind of at a smaller scale. And then you can exchange it for resources. Very cool. Excited about that. They've got some securement silo adjustments, dungeon optimizations, remove PvP for workshop defense. Love that. Don't need to be bothered during those hordes of enemies there. Players can now experience the new riddle spot gameplay with some variations between different scripts. Interesting. So better riddles, hopefully, in the game to unlock weapon attachments. Engagement zone drop adjustments, public crisis event adjustments. Task adjustments here for the overworld. So this looks like some story-related things that they're updating. Players are no longer required to visit various neutral settlements to accept commissions. Commissions can now be accepted at any time by summoning V. Love this. Don't need to go ahead and fast travel and waste my currency to just go accept missions or, love to see that. Let's see here. My God, there's so much in this article, but we're almost through it. Added finished furniture pieces and facilities. Great. Love to see it. New enemies here. Normal enemy light. Okay, look at this. This is really interesting. It's a light bulb enemy. Elite enemy order keeper. Okay, this thing scares the hell out of me already. My God, I love how it integrates into the world. Like the combination of like organic enemies and like mechanical enemies is so cool. The gotcha machine. Gotcha. The Scorcher. Look at this guy. Oh, he's going to blow my head off. Weather forecasters. Love it. So freaking cool. There's 4 of them. Oh, man. Oh, boss enemy. Wonderland guy. Dude, this is awesome. And we have a new dungeon boss, Securement Silo Siren. Oh, this is just fantastic. And then there are some super mutated enemies now in the game as well. They also added the task tracker to the mini-map and the world map. Love to see that, thank God. They also added some search functions as well for the world map. Love to see that. Great quality of life updates right there. And then featured events at the hotbar. I mean, they're just doing so much here. Environment optimizations, exploration optimizations, some map adjustments. The world map now includes a list of NPCs for each neutral stronghold. Okay, sounds good to me. You can track the NPCs by clicking on them. Love to see that. We got some gathering optimizations. You can now start gathering with a click without the need to hold the button down. Sounds good to me. Quicker gathering is always good, especially now that you can use the deviations to do it for you too if you want to. We got some other adjustments, outfit management here, wish machine overhaul. So you optimize the wish machine interface. That's great because it definitely was confusing. So when the wish machine's prize pool has been depleted, an additional reward will be issued. Love to see that. An additional final reward will be granted when the common prize pool is completely drawn. So you're getting extra rewards for getting through all the wish machine prizes, which is great. And then you can, the report page has been updated so you can submit reports easier. And that's pretty much everything. We're about 30 minutes in. It took me almost 30 minutes to go through everything in this freaking update, guys. And we didn't even get through everything. We didn't read every single thing. So I encourage you, go check out all these updates that are coming to Beta 3 for Once Human. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot of Once Human content. I did a ton of content during the last beta, and that's going to keep going with this one. So definitely follow me on Twitch, subscribe to my YouTube, TikTok, all that good stuff. I really would appreciate it. And if you made it this far in the video, if you made it to the end here, I just want you to comment down below potato. Just put potato down there. And also just let me know what you think of the update as well. But thank you so much for watching, folks, and I hope to see you in the next video.